with another live here with my friend Aldo from Crusades of Motivation. Make sure you check him out. Like, subscribe his stuff. Check him out. A lot of motivation over there. Crusades of Motivation. I'll leave that link down in the description, actually. So, Aldo, tonight I wanted to talk about. A few weeks ago, guys, I did a video. I was actually at the supermarket and I was doing some shopping, and I do get a lot of questions from you guys about eating habits. I think that's on everybody's mind. Uh, especially today when we talk about the obesity and people being overweight. And even if you're not, guys that kind of follow, live like Aldo and I, and you guys, obviously, if you're watching me, you have an interest in working out, I would think, trying to be healthy. Uh, so the eating part is a big part of it. You want to eat to stay healthy, you want to eat to maintain your weight, you want to eat to lose weight, you want to eat to gain muscle. So there's a lot going on there. And, most of us, um, again, based on the overweight, everybody being overweight and the obesity epidemic, most of us don't know how to eat. Um, so, back in the day, I was of and Aldo, we've talked about this before. My thing is that if you had a choice of either, learning how to eat for the rest of your life in a healthy fashion or working out, I would say skip the working out and learn how to eat because I think that's going to make you healthy. That's what makes you healthy, from the inside out. But it's important. It's important. You have to put the time in. You have to really, you have to do your own research because it's ingrained in us to eat all the time, eat three, four, 5 times a day. You have to eat a snack. You need energy, and it's really spiraling out of control. And you have to learn how to eat whole foods, and we're not taught that. We're not taught that. We're taught that this stuff, I don't know, they're fake foods. They really are. They're just like a concoctions of sugar, salt, wheat, preservatives, flavors, all sorts of things, and it's not good long term for the human body. It's not. Um, so my contention is learn how to eat. You still have to exercise, but if you had gun to your head, you got to make a choice. You either exercise or you eat right. I say you eat right, right? So again, a lot of guys that watch the channel, I get a lot of questions about what I do, and yeah, I never tell anybody that what I do is right for you. I don't
Hmm.
believe that. I think we all have to find our own way and find what's right for us, find what reacts well with our body, finds things that we enjoy, things that it's a sustainable diet. There are certain diets. You have the carnivore diet, you have the keto diet, you have a vegan diet, the Mediterranean diet. There's all these diets that people look at, and there's a place for all of them. But I don't believe that, like, when I hear somebody goes carnivore, that's very restrictive in that are you going to go the rest of your life? You may, you really probably could heal some, you get a lot of health benefits from something like that, but are you going to do it long term? I believe 99% of people won't. They won't stick it out, and they're not going to do it for the rest of their life. So you have to find the proper balance, you know. And my strategy is, I grew up. I didn't know any better. I grew up eating frozen dinners and pizza and fast food and McDonald's. 3 cheeseburgers, a 10-piece nugget, a large Coke. I mean, that was my go-to. With some sweet and sour sauce. Some extra sweet and
Shit.
sour sauce. That was my go-to. And I was always of the mindset, that, well, it doesn't matter because I'm working
Hmm.
out. So that exercise is going to negate all this bullshit, and it's not the truth. It is so far from the truth. You know. So give us a little, Aldo. Like, tell us a little bit about how you eat. I mean, I do my 2 meals a day. I try to stay, just whole foods. I don't do anything. I don't snack in between, and I just try to keep it as clean as possible. I know you're doing your best. So tell everybody, just a couple of things, what your strategies are.
Oh man, I'm such a fatty man. Sometimes I feel like I'm trapped in a skinny body because I eat so much, and believe me, man, I'm not perfect when it comes to eating, right? Because man, there's days that I eat shitty myself, but mostly I try to eat healthy. And a big thing for me is to look at my plate, right? When I'm making me a serving or making me a meal, I look at my plate, man, and I try to imagine what this that's on my plate is gonna give me for what the lifestyle that I live. I'm a fitness dude. I love fucking working out. I love being out there doing shit. So I look at my plate in that manner. So I make sure in my plate there's some protein, right? And a big thing for me, and like you said it well, some of these things don't work for everybody. Me myself,
Right.
I love fruit. So a big thing for me is fruit on my plate, and it could be strawberries. I mean, some days it's a watermelon. Some days I eat a whole pineapple in one sitting, right? And that's let's per se for breakfast.
Hmm.
I have some eggs here. I eat a whole pineapple and maybe a couple of toast. I do eat bread, and I know you against that shit. Although I know you against that shit. Oh man, but hey man, I gotta be sincere here, and I'm not gonna lie to the people and say that, like you say, I don't eat perfect, but I put that fucking toast on there. I put some peanut. My shit is getting watery thinking about it. I put some peanut butter.
Cut the live. Aldo got to go eat. Cut the live. Aldo's going to eat. We'll be back later, guys.
I put that peanut butter on there, and that's my plate. But I make sure that I nourish my body. I think of it like that. All right, but it's not more bread than protein, right? So
Right.
on this plate, man, it's probably about shit 5 eggs, sometimes six. That's a big meal, man. And I look at this plate, and I'm like, okay, so this is for I probably won't eat till 3, 4, and it'll be something like that again. It'll be some meat, whatever, steak, pork. And I gotta get better at eating fish because I don't eat as much fish as I should. But
Hmm.
I believe, man, and here's it's not an experiment, but I just noticed in my own diet that the days that I eat shitty, my performance is horrible, and that's the proof right there how much that matters. How much of what you eat transfer into the activities that you do. So there's a lot to say for that, man. So yeah, man, I'm not a perfect eater, but I really try to do my best on that. And I eat the same shit almost every day. Simple,
Yes.
just eat eggs. I do the oatmeal. I do the oatmeal.
Right.
Um, a lot of nuts. So yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Well, when you talk about, eating the same stuff every day, it's funny to me because I have a friend of mine.
Mm.
I actually interviewed him here on the channel who just got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And
Oh
we've
shit.
been friends for years and years and years. And he
Mm.
was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes recently. And he's been overweight, but, uh, and he would eat the same shit all the time. And that's what most people do. You eat the same shit over and over. Every morning
Mm.
he would tell me he would stop at the store, and have his buttered roll with his coffee and sugar and
Mm.
whatever, and just eat shit throughout the day. But
Mm.
basically the same shit.
Mm.
Now, when I was trying to help him and I was suggesting things for him to eat, um, he's like, "Well, you expect me to eat the same thing all the time?" And I said, "You've been eating the same shit for 50 fucking years, and look at the shape that you're in."
Yeah.
Right now,
Mm.
like when you tell somebody that you can't eat the same shit that you've been eating, you have to eat good shit now.
Mm.
Now all of a sudden it's like, well, but I need variety. I can't eat the same stuff all the time. But you did already, and look what it did to you. You know what I mean? So I always laugh. It's and not that it's funny because it really is true. You know what I mean? People just it goes back to the old thing that they just don't want to change. They want to keep doing what they're doing, and they'll still hope for like different results, which ain't going to
Yeah.
happen at some point. So, and I started realizing that, probably like in my 40s. I've talked before about that when I started noticing how I just didn't feel good anymore. The blood pressure and I know I had some insulin resistance going on and some other things. So, and I say to people, it's going to catch up with you. You might be 25, you might be 35, you might make it till 45. Everybody's different. You're never going to know, but it's going to get you. That's the
Mhm.
point. Um, so, you got to do the best you can. But again, it all comes back to educating yourself, right? You got to be willing to change. Once the shit hits the fan, you got to change. You can't sit there and say, yeah, but I like this and I want to. Why can't I eat that? Because it's fucking you up. Because it's destroying your health. So
Mhm.
you have to stop. You have to look for something else. There's always another way. Um, and if you do the whole foods again, like you said, nobody's perfect. And I'm an all or nothing guy. I'm an all or nothing guy. It was that way when I drank.
Mhm.
I didn't go out for 2 or 3 beers. Sometimes I went out for 2 or 3 days
Oh shit.
drink. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, so
Mhm.
if I eat a pizza, I'm not gonna. And this is the God's honest truth. If I get a pizza,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna eat 2 or 3 slices. I'm gonna eat the whole pizza.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And to your point, the next day when I do that, I get up the next day, I feel like shit. And
Mhm.
it's not in my head. I'm not just thinking. I literally, I don't feel good. And that's why, like, I said to you about the drinking part, I gave that up. And I just think back of how I felt now, like afterwards. First of all, it never did anything good for me.
Mhm.
Anything negative in my life that ever happened usually revolved around alcohol. So I don't miss that. I certainly don't miss that. And the foods, they're everywhere. Everywhere you go, the foods, the temptation is there for the desserts, the pizza, the fast food stuff, and you have to resist it because it's easy to slip. I get it. I understand it. You know what I mean? It is so hard to slip, but you have to overcome that. You have to realize what it's doing. Just look around. Just look around at people. You know what I mean? And they'll tell you it's like it's staring us right in the fucking face for years, right? Look at the way people are eating, and they'll tell you that obesity is a disease, that it's genetic, that heart
Mhm.
disease is genetic, kidney disease is genetic, right? And then they say, well, it could have something to do. They're actually, I think they're looking, they designated obesity as a disease back in, mm, don't quote me on the year, but I'm going to say the late 1990s,
Let me
before
look that up.
2000. Um, and now I think they're looking to change it to actually make it some type of brain disorder.
Oh
Obesity
shit.
is a brain disorder. Um, so yeah, it's just out of control. But I'm sure there's other factors. There are other factors. You know what I mean? But the big elephant in the room is the food. And if you change that, you could change so much. I'm not saying you're gonna cure everything, but you'll cure 80 to 90% of the ailments that are going on.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's so hard it's an addiction. It's a serious addiction. You can't tell an alcoholic stop drinking and he's going to stop drinking tomorrow. You can't tell a heroin addict put that needle down or stop snorting heroin and he's going to stop tomorrow. They can't. And it's the same thing with a food addict. You can't say just don't eat. You know what I mean? It takes time. You have to build habits, and it's uncomfortable. We don't like being uncomfortable. We like the convenience, we like the comfort, and we like the consumption because we get that dopamine hit. It makes us feel good. It tastes good going down. It makes us feel good, and it is what it is. So anyway, yeah. So nobody's 100%, guys. Anybody says they're 100%, they definitely are full of shit. But um, you would say for the majority of the time, Aldo, you're a pretty good eater.
Yeah, but
You're
yeah,
on point.
definitely, definitely. There's days, obviously, you go here, you go there, or you crave something, and I'm like, okay, I've been good. I'm gonna go have that pizza. Same, I have the whole pizza. But a quick fact right here: it says that in beginning of 1970s, that's when obesity became a problem. But I want to bring a point here, man. I think people have the misconception that healthy foods are not tasty, but that's wrong, man. And that comes in
Dead
how you
wrong.
season the shit, right? How you
Dead wrong.
season the shit, man. Because I make some fucking bomb. I've been lucky, man, because in my younger years, I worked in kitchens. So then I got to hang out with chefs and shit. So then I learned a lot about how to season this, season that, make dishes and shit. So now I use those skills, and to the point to say that healthy food is not tasty. I mean, you can make that shit fucking delicious. Like, I know you do your sweet potatoes. That could be your fucking donut, right? My
It is.
fruit,
It
my
is.
fruit. That shit. I see it as that instead of me having a donut, a piece of cake, which I love fucking cake. I have it sometimes, but but instead of that, because I crave that shit, man. That's just, it must be a I don't know if it's a biological thing, but you crave those things, right? You crave that sweet. But I'd rather have a piece of fruit than a slice of cake. So to
Yeah.
just get that shit out the way, healthy food is not tasty, man. But you make it tasty. You fucking like a big thing I do. I love chicken thighs, man. That's my favorite fucking thing, right?
Hmm.
My shit got watery again, but see, a big thing for me is I'm gonna give you guys a recipe right here. I used a cast iron to make them, right? So I do
Okay.
the cast iron, and I do butter because in my belief, I think butter is a little better than like seed oil, right? Or olive
Oh
oil
yeah. I don't.
sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but what I do, man, is I sear that motherfucker real good. A little salt, salt it, pepper it. Man, you get that crunch on there. It
Oh
just
man.
the whole thing becomes tastier. So there you go. There you have it, man. Beans, you know, you season those beans really good. Bam,
Hmm.
that's a nice meal right there.
Yeah.
So I think people's got that misconception, man, that healthy food is not tasty, but really you make it tasty, man. This is here, Benny. Nowadays, man, we have all this information right here,
Oh yeah.
right here, man.
Yeah.
Look for a
Hmm.
recipe. Look for a recipe. Okay, a good way, healthy way to make my chicken or my steak, or because sometimes you fuck up and you can make your chicken into an unhealthy dish also.
Yeah.
So
True.
you know what
Very
I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah. But you're right. That's a really good point. That healthy food can taste really good, but again, it takes planning, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. You have the computer in right in
Mm-hmm.
your hand. Anything
Mm-hmm.
you want to cook, anything you want to make. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what's a recipe for this? You'll get thousands of recipes on how to make
Mm-hmm.
chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But people, it's much easier to pop shit in a microwave. It's much easier to Uber Eats,
Mm-hmm.
just get shit already made. You know what I mean? And that's what gets me. You look at I mean, right by me, but they're everywhere. I mean, you have the Burger King, the McDonald's, the Taco
Mm-hmm.
Bell, all
Mm-hmm.
right next to each other. The fucking lines around the buildings with the
Mm-hmm.
cars in the like early morning, people stopping in there, and then mid-afternoon, and then like dinner time, the fucking cars are around the buildings,
That breakfast.
and people talk about it's so expensive to eat healthy.
It's not. It's really
But
not.
no, when you break it down, it can be done, but it takes effort. It takes
Mm-hmm.
planning. It takes time. It takes effort. And people aren't willing, for the most part, to do it, even though it means their health. You know what I mean? They'll come up with some fucking excuse. Well, I got to go to work. I got the kids, which really grinds my gears when I hear you use the kids as an excuse. Again, I've said this many, many times. It's just bullshit. Um, so just to backtrack a little bit, I was talking about how, for me, I thought I was doing okay up until I hit my 40s, and then
Mm-hmm.
shit started going south, and that's kind of so. One of my subscribers here, Frankie Matos, he was just wondering, when did it click for me? I'm assuming he means like when did I say to myself, I got to start changing. I got to do things differently here. So it was definitely for me like in my early 40s when started seeing things, and I didn't stop cold turkey, but
Mm.
I started to realize, hey, what I'm doing isn't working here. So I got to change. I got to start changing. So I did start making some changes back then. You know what I mean?
Were you feeling
Um,
sick?
but I know I didn't feel good.
Mm.
I've said this to you before. I was nearly 40 pounds heavier than I am now. I was never,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that I was obese. When I was dressed, I didn't look obese.
Mm-hmm.
I worked out, I lifted weights and stuff. So, I was like a typical guy where like, I lifted weights. So I guess I had some muscle on my body, but there was fat under there too.
You had
There
that
was
gut.
plenty of fat under there. And it wasn't, I definitely, that started in, yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Um, but like most guys, when you're dressed and you have the shirt and the shirt's a little loose, it doesn't look as bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, but overall, just how did I feel? I knew I was going down a wrong path because physically I just didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? And then I knew, I had to start making changes. But like I said, I didn't wake up one day and just say, all right, you know, that's it. No more drinking, no more eating this, no more staying out late, no more doing. It was a process. It was a
How
process.
long you think? How many? Within how long? It was it years? Was it months or what?
No, it was over the course of a few years.
Oh,
I
really?
drastically cut. I drastically cut down on things as I went along. The drinking.
Mm.
Uh, I started cutting that out. Uh, I concentrated more on eating right, even though I didn't do it all the time. You know what I mean? I ate, started to eat healthier, more times than not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Um, I would still go out and just, if I wanted to eat something, I ate it, but then for the next 4, 5, 6 days, I'd jump back on the wagon and try and do as best I can. But then I would still, and I was kind of using that as an excuse. Well, I've been good for a week, so now I'll go out and So it was kind of really over the course of like a few years.
Mm.
And then when I finally just cut it completely, and I said I'm never going to drink again, and I'm never, not that I'm never going to eat poorly again, but I'm really, really, really hard on myself when it comes to the eating because I realize the importance and I preach it. Um, and again, I'm not 100%, nowhere near it, but I certainly can't tell people and preach to people and say this is the way I think it should be done, or similar to this, and then go and do something totally opposite. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, I wouldn't feel right doing that. And the thing is, again, I'm not telling people that you have to do exactly what I do, and if you do what I do, you'll get the results I get. But if you cut all the bullshit out and just get down to the basics and say, okay, let's start with just whole foods. I have people tell me, well, I can't eat dairy. Well, then don't. Go eat
Mm-hmm.
something else. I can eat it. I eat yogurt every day, pretty much every single day. And thanks to you, you gave me the recipe for the homemade kefir. I've been making that. It's delicious. You know what I mean?
Man.
I don't have a problem with that. I love my sardines. People, oh, geez, I can't eat sardines. I would never eat them. Okay, then don't. Don't. We'll find something else for you. You know what I mean? There's plenty of good. And like you said, you could take a healthy food and make it taste delicious. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it can definitely be done. So I know when you were younger, you had some issues, right? You had the colitis or the irritable bowel and things like that going on, or
Yeah, man. I had that fucking colitis,
ulcerative
man. I was so
colitis.
young too. Yeah, I had that. It's called yeah, colitis. So you basically can't shit, and it's from a poor diet.
Yeah,
And and what the doctor was explaining to me is like if this thing, because I remember they showed me these X-rays, and I mean you can see spots of shit that was stuck in my intestine. And he's like, look, man, if you keep going like this is gonna become something really bad with time
yeah,
because it's stuck there, right? So yeah, he gave me a treatment, which is it was a holistic doctor actually, the one that actually fixed me because fucking talking about medicine, man. You know, regular doctors. I remember they take me from doctor to doctor, and they will give me pills. They will give me fucking those laxatives, and it will help for a day or two. But then I get back to kind of shit. Oh man. So who cured me was a holistic doctor, and in his man, he gave me like I don't know, man, 30 medicines, right? They were all natural medicines. They were plants, extracts. They were. I remember he had me take a shot of olive oil in the morning,
Hmm.
right? And he said,
Good.
that's gonna help with you heal up inside, right? So he had me do that. He had me do pollen,
Hmm.
right? All this crazy shit, man. But that was the thing that cured me. And his biggest thing is like you had to eat better. So my journey has really been for a long time already, man. Then I understood that I had to eat every day something that had a lot of fiber. So it could
Right.
be a vegetable, right? It could be fruit. I think that's where that started with fruit.
Hmm.
Uh, Water. You gotta make sure you drink water.
Yeah.
Because like if you
Absolutely.
don't have water, then how your system is not gonna work the right way.
Right.
That and what else, man? I mean, there were so many things that he gave me. It's been a long time, but Beanie never again suffer from stomach problems. And I'm sure nowadays is because I try to take care of myself. And you know what? A big thing too that I want to share with the people is that you guys gotta be open, and you gotta be open to try different things, like you said, right? Certain things, like I tried the fucking sardines. I don't like that shit. I couldn't do it. It just like it just. I tried more than. Also, you gotta give it more than once. You cannot
Right.
just try one thing and say I'm done. That's the only time I'm gonna fucking try it. Y'all give it
Right.
a few times. I tried, but it couldn't go. It couldn't go, man. It was just I don't know the smell. I don't know, but we have to be open to okay, this diet don't work for me. It makes me feel a certain type of way. I'm gonna tweak it. Maybe I can add this. Like I remember I was eating we're talking about eating more protein in the mornings. So I would do the eggs, right? And then I couldn't shit. I'm like, oh
Hmm.
my god, is that? It's gotta be that because before I will have a little bit of oatmeal, or like I said,
And
I
it
have a
wouldn't.
whole yeah the fiber. So that okay, so that didn't work for me. So okay, I'm gonna do less eggs. Instead of having eight, I'm gonna do six, five, and then I'm gonna have my fruit, a little oatmeal, right? And that okay, now I hit the nail right there. Now it works
And
fine.
it's work.
I'm
Right.
Yeah, I'm getting that protein. I'm getting what I need for my stomach because we're all different, man. Our bodies are not the same, like you
No.
said, right?
No.
So
No.
we definitely gotta be open. I tried the vegan diet. I tried that shit too. That shit didn't work for me, man. I feel like for me, I just do too much, and I want to be taking a lot of supplements. I want to be, like taking
Yeah.
this pea fucking protein that tastes like shit.
Hmm.
Uh, you know what I mean? Because you need that protein no
Yeah.
matter what, man. That's just our physiology. We need the
Yeah.
protein. I don't
Yeah.
believe that. Some people say talk about but fucking gorillas only eat grass and shit. And look at them how buff they are. But they have that chemistry in their body,
Right.
right? They have that special
Exactly.
chemistry, the special shit in their
Exactly.
stomach, right? That makes them
Exactly.
process that shit in. That's how they get
Yeah.
buff. But we fucking humans, man. We need that protein.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. But yeah, people like to make it, and the vegan diet, personally, it doesn't appeal to me. Any restrictive diet, anything where you own, I love meat. I
Hmm.
love steak. I don't want to
Hmm.
eat it every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's it. I want to have my sweet potato. I want to have my fruit. You know what I mean? Um, I'm gonna have a little bit of cake here and there. I'm gonna have that odd donut. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna restrict myself like that because
Hmm.
you'll go out of
Hmm.
your mind. You'll go out of your mind. But I say it serves its purpose. The keto diet. I mean,
Hmm.
if you do research on the keto diet, I mean, it's documented that you know for people that had epilepsy, it
Oh yeah.
drastically reduced their episode. The seizures that they had and things like that, and it helped. But then when the drugs came along, all of a sudden that's quackery. You can't
Mm.
do that. It's unhealthy. But the point I'm trying to make is anything other than what we're doing, the standard American diet. If you go to a vegan diet, you're almost guaranteed to see health benefits from that in the short term, right?
Mhm.
The carnivore diet. If you go to any of these other diets, call them a diet quota, but way of eating, if you
Mhm.
other than the standard American diet, you're gonna see benefits from it, right?
Mhm.
So, and that's why people say, "Oh, I'm carnivore and I've never been healthier." That's great. You saw benefits because you stopped eating the fast foods, the junk food, the seed oils, whatever. You know what I mean? All the sugar, all the. But is that sustainable? You have to find a way to start adding. I mean, I think a little bit of meat, eggs, definitely vegetables, definitely fruits. You know what I'm saying? There's a place for all of it,
Mhm.
and I think it's everything in life. The poison is always going to be in the dose.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So can you have that donut? Can you have that cake? Can you have that pizza? Yeah, yeah, but not you can't. Human beings can't sustain themselves. You can't subsist on this stuff long term. You can't. And you want to argue about, well, we were cavemen and we ate meat, and people say, no, fuck you, we ate. You don't fucking know. You weren't
Mhm.
there, but
Mhm.
it's here for us now,
Mhm.
and nobody's gonna fucking tell me that. I, just in my own case, just me personally, when I went from eating fast food and drinking booze and high stress life and not sleeping right, and I changed all of that, my fucking health and my outlook completely changed,
Mhm.
180 degrees. So there's something to it. So I don't want to hear this bullshit that when people say, "Well, I eat that and I'm fine, and I drink energy drinks and I'm fine." Look at the fucking long term. It's coming. You're building it up, and the dam is gonna break at some point. It's gonna fucking break at some point. Um, all right, so let me calm down a little bit here now. I had another question here. So I do, and again, I don't even like to use the term fasting, but I usually go 16, 18, maybe some days 20 hours in between my meals. Do you do anything like that, Aldo? Are you like on any type of eating schedule, or you just eat, whenever you feel?
I do. Usually 2, 3. It depends because I really try to listen to my body, right? But usually 2, 3 times a day, and I do the fasting. But now I have a different approach for fasting, and let me share this with you, okay? And it's same. I listen to my body, and there's times that I feel sluggish, right? Maybe because I ate horrible for a week or two, and I feel it. I feel my body a certain type of way. Then I go into a fasting. I do a 2 day fasting, sometimes a 24-hour fasting. You know, so my fasting is based on that, and my fasting is about cleaning my system. So I think about it like that,
Hmm.
right? Okay,
Right.
fuck, man. I've been kind of feeling shitty. I'm gonna fast, right? There's those days that you just feel shitty. You just feel certain type of way, and I think like, okay, there might be something in there that did this. So then I go into a 2 day fasting. Sometimes it's just a full 24-hour fasting. I don't have that approach, which I tried before, but it just for me it wasn't like you say, like some things work for somebody and some things don't work for another person. So that's my approach into fasting, just as get myself clean. Hmm.
Yeah. And I tell people this, and sometimes I don't like to, but uh, I say, like, if you do have an episode where you fall off the wagon and you go to hell with you. So let's say you go to an affair, a wedding, or a birthday party, or you just go
Hmm.
out on the town one night and you really fuck up and you drink too much. Fasting is a great tool to have in your arsenal because you can
Hmm.
clean yourself out, like you said, with a good 24, 36-hour fast after a big fuck up.
Hmm.
And I think it's really going to help negate a lot of the damage. You know what I mean? I've done it. I've used it, and nothing crazy. When I just ate too much and just some cannoli after it or whatever, some donuts, and I just felt like shit. And I'll fast the whole next
Mhm.
day, and it feels great. It I think it helps a lot. Um, so yeah, it's and there's other benefits to it. And I always find it funny how many of the religions,
Mhm.
Ramadan right now, right? I think Ramadan is
Mhm.
still going on, right? And they fast from dawn till dusk or whatever it is for X amount of days. Christians talk about Lent,
Mhm.
giving stuff up, and all through the Bible they talk about Jesus fasting for 40 days, and
Mhm.
the Jews do their fasting,
Mhm.
religions, right? And everybody talks about, you know, okay, well, let's fast. Oh, that's going to kill you. You could. Oh, so you believe everything else about the religion. You're so religious, and you'll take everything from whatever book you read, right? Whatever, if it's the Bible or whichever one of the books you want to pick and read, and you say, no, this is the word of God. This is the truth. I believe this,
Mhm.
and you're entitled to believe that. But they mention, I know for a fact throughout the Bible, it's mentioned quite a
Many
bit
times.
about
Yeah.
fasting.
Mhm.
But you tell somebody to fast, but that's going to kill you. I can't do that. I'm going to die. I need my calories.
Mhm.
Like they start freaking out. I'm like, oh, okay. So you'll spew. You'll tell me about all the other stuff in the Bible and how I'm a fucking heathen and I'm no good. And but when you get to that part about fasting, you're like, oh shit, that must be a misprint. They must have added that in. You know, some quack
Man.
must have got a copy of the transcript and added that in. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be there. Um, but so what did you say now? You were breaking up a little bit. You do 2 or 3 meals a day, or you
It
whatever.
depends. To be honest, depends, man. There's sometimes it's two meals, just big, big. See, one thing about me, man, is just that I have these big meals, man. Every time I say to eat, it's big meals, and a lot of times it's two meals because I mean I do this every night almost. And you just gave me that new recipe with the kefir, but it's usually yogurt that I do it with, and
Right.
just a bowl of yogurt with nuts and a fruit, and I call that my
Yeah.
dinner.
Hmm.
So I think I count that as a meal, right? So that's my three meals. So I eat my eggs in the morning. Sometimes it's oatmeal and nuts. I eat a lot of nuts. No homo. but uh, but yeah, man. So I eat that, and then I have some meat during the day, some meat and beans. Sometimes rice. Sometimes I got this hack, man, that I get this frozen veggies. So yeah, I
Hmm.
usually do that with my meat, okay, and then I have that yogurt at night. But yes, two, three. Sometimes it's three, sometimes it's two. So I really, it really
Yeah.
depends on how my day goes. Because there's days that I train twice a day, so then those days I gotta make sure I feel like, and I don't know if it's psychological or it's really something that my body needs, but I feel like okay, I gotta eat. I train really hard today. I gotta fuel my body. I feel like I gotta fuel my body so tomorrow I can do it again. Can get up and have that energy to go. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So, but when it comes to calories, you're not tracking your macros and how many calories. You're just kind of eating. You kind of know what to eat. A little bit of this. You have to get your protein in, and um, you just make sure you have the meat or the eggs, like the protein source, but you're not actually counting how much, right?
No, no. I think of it as fuel. I think of it. This is my fuel. This is, and you know what? A lot of the times that when the days I don't work out, these times I only have one meal a day because
Hmm.
I just don't. I feel like I don't need it. I don't get as hungry.
Hmm.
So I really think of it like that. And throughout the years, it's been always like that. I gotta get this. I'm gonna like it's times I have planned like I'm gonna do 1,000 pull-ups tomorrow. I'm like good
Right.
today. you
Yeah.
know.
I gotta stock up. Um, so how do you feel about now? I know you train a lot in the morning. You're at the gym in the morning.
Mhm.
You don't do you eat before you work out,
No, no,
or
no,
you
no,
wait?
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I eat till later. So I guess I'll fast. I guess, yeah.
Right.
Without really thinking about it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I only drink coffee in the morning. That's it.
Yeah, and then you go do your workout, and then
Hmm.
you'll have. Do you normally do you plan to, okay, I worked out, so now I'm gonna go have my meal now, or are there times where you'll work out and then you might not eat even for another few hours? Does that happen, or
No,
do you specifically, no, I'm done working out now. I'm gonna go have something to eat.
yeah, like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I work out,
Okay.
and this is it's kind of a routine, And like I said, I feel like that. I feel my body, right? I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I gotta
Yeah.
replenish what I did. Hmm.
Right. Okay.
Hmm.
And so your weight, how long have you been the weight that you're at now, for the most
Hmm.
part? How long would you say you've held on to that weight? Been,
Oh
severe with
man,
it?
it's been a while. It's been a while. I said a couple of years, man. I stayed at the same weight.
Hmm.
Uh huh. Um, and hey, this is years ago. I wanted to gain weight, and I went from 135 to 170. But I had to take a lot of fucking supplements, man. I had to do this weight gainer, and that's a period of my life that I feel the shittiest.
Hmm.
And I mean, I just looked at that picture and I had fucking double chin. I wasn't like chubby or anything, but I wasn't cut. I didn't have no
Hmm.
abs. I was just bulky, right? But
Right.
I never feel good. So then I let that shit go and I start taking. I take zero supplements. I just eat. I procure to eat good.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was actually my next question, but I want to talk about that. But now that you mentioned, I want to just divert for 1 second. You guys that are listening, you just heard Aldo mention he was taking a weight gainer.
Mhm.
If you listen to nothing, guys, that I ever say, when you see these things, these shakes that you buy, like in these tubs that are like
Yeah.
almost like a 55-gallon drum, and it says
Mhm.
weight gain shake on it. I promise you, guys, that those things are a total waste of money, and they will. It's a direct road right to type 2 diabetes, because all you're getting is a can of cheap shit, low quality protein and maltodextrin, and that
Mm.
shit is hazardous to your health. It will spike your blood sugar quicker than table sugar, quicker than white bread. All
No
you're
shit.
getting is a tub of sugar. I guarantee you, the next time any of you guys watching me right now, if you're taking a weight gainer, if you're taking something right now that says weight gainer on it, some type of, go right now and look. And I guarantee that probably the number one ingredient, and they list ingredients on food packages and these things by, what has, it's the most in there. So maltodextrin will be either the first or second
No
ingredient
shit.
on any of those weight gainer. They are hazardous to your health. Stay away from them. But anyway, we were talking about, so you said you don't take any supplements.
Zero.
The number one supplement, that I recommend, that I take every day, I have everybody in my family take it, and I tell everybody that'll listen to me to take it, is vitamin D. It's crucial in so many ways. All I can tell you guys is do your research on vitamin D and see how important it is. Don't let anybody tell you different. You should be taking vitamin D every day. It's dirt cheap. It's a couple of
Hmm.
pennies a day, um, and it's going to benefit you so much. So many of us are deficient in vitamin D because it's very limited where we can get it, um, from food sources. Most people aren't eating a ton of fish. There's some to be had from eggs, from the whole eggs, but everybody's fat phobic, so everybody's drinking. I'm sorry, using just plain egg whites, which is nonsense. But
Yeah.
yeah, guys. So I take that every day, and even Aldo, we're going to talk
Mm.
when we get off this live. We're going to talk further. I'm going to make sure you start taking it, because it's almost a guarantee.
Okay.
It's almost a guarantee that if you're not deficient, you're definitely going to be on the low end, because none of
Mhm.
us really, unless you live right down by the equator, you're not going to be
Mm.
getting the sunlight that you need year round. I mean, I'm here in New Jersey. I haven't seen sun. And when I say sunlight, I don't mean, in the summertime, you say, no, I get sunlight. So you leave your house in the morning where it's air conditioned with your sunglasses on, and you get in your car and you put the visor down because the sun is shining, and you say, oh, it was so sunny. I got sun today. I'm talking about being outside. in a pair of shorts with 80% of your body exposed for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Then the darker your skin tone, the darker your skin, darker skinned people, it's harder for them to synthesize the vitamin D from the sun. The
Mm.
bottom line is you really have to know, you have to know what your vitamin D levels are for so many different reasons, but it's so and you want vitamin D3. You'll see vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. Make sure you take vitamin
Mm.
D3.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something I take every day. And for you guys, it's critical. It's vitamin D is critical for testosterone production. So many things. So many things. All I
Mm.
can say is do a little bit of research on it. I don't think you're going to go wrong taking some vitamin D. Um, I also take a little bit of zinc again for that reason for the testosterone. I don't know that I'm deficient in it, but again, it's a couple of pennies a day, and why not? It's not going to hurt me. So I do that. Um, and then my salts. We've talked about the electrolytes.
Oh, I guess I take
Because I
that.
eat, yeah, because I eat mostly whole foods. You're not going to get high sodium content from whole foods. You have to add it. So I salt the shit out of my food. I'm not afraid of the salt shaker.
Same.
I do the magnesium. I take magnesium uh, and also some potassium. The three main electrolytes. I take that every day. Um, yeah, and that's it. But other than that, not really, because like I said, I eat a relatively whole food diet. I have my fish, I have my eggs, I have my meat, I have vegetables, I have fruit. I don't think I'm not aware of being deficient in anything. I'm certainly not going to take a chance of being deficient with vitamin D. So I'm always going to take that.
Mm.
And I would highly, highly, highly recommend that to everybody. Let me check the chat here, Aldo. While I'm,
Yes, sir.
we got Frankie F16, fad diets. Any diet is restricted, not fitting your lifestyle. Correct, not sustainable. We have to find a nice balance. We could use a certain restrictive diet if we have a specific goal, whether it's weight loss or to cure some type. In Aldo's case, he had the colitis, right? So we might want to eat a certain way for a certain amount of time. But then we're going to slowly introduce other foods back in and find our nice balance. And I think that's the way to go with it. David Jones, thank you, brother, as always. David Jones is always here.
Shout out to
Seven
him.
Fitness in the house. Seven Fitness. Seven, Aldo, you've seen my man Seven, right?
Hmm.
He's over in Long Island, New York. He lost a good amount of weight. You guys check out Seven Fitness. Um, he was he had some weight on him. Um, I saw a couple of his older videos, but he's looking good now. He's looking cut up. Seven, you're doing it, man. Good on you.
Shout out to Seven, man. I was on his live chat the other day. I was on his live and the signal went off. But shout out to him, man. He working hard out there.
Yeah, he's out there all the time, and he's looking
Hmm.
good. He's getting cut up. Like I said, he was definitely in a couple of his earlier videos. He had some meat on him. You know what I mean? But now he looks like he's definitely cutting up. So he's doing the right thing.
That's right.
Yes, and he says I'm tempted every single. You and me both, Seven. Everybody's tempted every day. But you know, what are you going to do with that temptation? Are you going to fight it off, or are you going to succumb to it? I mean, that's going to determine your fate. How do you
Fight it,
handle
man.
that temptation, right?
That's right.
Brian's here. Taste buds become trained to like the, yeah, no doubt, Brian. But big time, big time. Seven here, here's seven. He had a slice of pizza, just one, not two or three. All right, Seven.
Yeah, I'll be eating the whole damn pizza myself, Beanie. I ain't even gonna lie, man. This I
Yeah,
plan this shit
pizza.
sometimes. I'll be
I
like
told you
from
I grew up with the pizza. I worked in a pizzeria over Manhattan. I told you, man. I used to eat that shit morning, noon, and night. Who doesn't love pizza? You know what I mean? But it's not good.
uh,
Yvette says, what do you think of the keto diet? Um, like Yvette, I mentioned earlier, I think there's definitely a place for it. I think it has health benefits. Um, I think it can be a weight loss tool for some people. I think it could help people fix up some health issues, no doubt. But I don't think that it's sustainable for people in the long term. The other thing too is just like everything else, it's been bastardized. You go in the store and everything says keto snack, keto this, keto chocolate bars, keto. That's all nonsense. It's nonsense. A true ketogenic diet is upwards of, I believe it's 85% fat, very low protein, considering, maybe down around 10 to 15%, and trace amount of carbs. When I
Mm.
say, I'm talking like literally like, I think it was 25 grams of carbs. That's
Mm.
nothing. That's a speck.
Mhm.
It's not sustainable for people. It's not. You can do it for a while, and I really do. I don't think it's quackery. I don't think it's dangerous. I think it's a healthy diet in certain circumstances. Um, so yeah, I definitely think it'll work. I mean, if you have weight to lose and you do it the right way, I've seen it work. I've seen it work, and it can work. But again, in the short term, because I don't. This I'm not saying that 100% of the people that try it can't sustain it. There are people I'm sure that can, that have the fortitude to do it, but 99.9% of people are not going to do it for any great length of time. But again, I think there's definitely a place for it. Just like I mentioned earlier, there might be a place for the vegans and
Mhm.
definitely for the carnivore, because it's almost, the carnivore is like an elimination diet. uh, You know, uh, so again, what's giving you your health problems? 90 for 99% of us, it's the standard American diet. It's the processed foods. So
Mhm.
again, if you cut those out, I don't care if you eat keto, I don't care if you eat vegan, your health is gonna improve. It almost has to, because you're not poisoning your body. You know. So yeah, Yvette, I think there's definitely a place for it if it's done right. But again, everybody's looking to make a buck, so even the food companies now, they'll label everything keto this, keto that, and if you look at the carb content on some of that shit, it has nothing to do with keto. It's nowhere near keto. So you have to watch. I mean, if you're going to do a legitimate keto diet, definitely a place for it. Yeah, seven definitely lost some pounds there, brother. Yvette, well, I'm really sorry to hear that, hon. I really am.
Mhm.
But if you have type two, you're talking type two diabetes, I assume. Yeah, because like I just said, the keto is so restrictive on carbohydrates. And once you're in that condition, when you have the type 2 diabetes, people say, well, sugar, I'm sorry, fruit is healthy fruit, and is healthy sugar, and honey and this and that. Once you're in that condition, any type of carbohydrate, you don't put fires out with gasoline. And when you're in that condition, there's no such thing as a healthy sugar. A sugar is a sugar because it's broken down in your body. I don't care if it's whole wheat pasta, if it's brown rice, if it's a banana, if it's raw honey right out of the beehive. It's sugar, and it's going to damage your body. If you eat moderate amounts of that as a healthy person, is it going to make you sick? Probably not for the majority of us. But once you're in that condition, when you flip that switch and you get to the point where you're a raging type 2 diabetic, um, you can't. You have to. And I think, Yvette, I mean, if that really is your condition, again, I'm really sorry to hear that. But um, a legitimate keto diet is definitely going to help the diabetes. I believe. I really believe it. And to say that you can't reverse type 2 diabetes, that's an outright lie. It's an outright
That's
lie.
true. Mhm.
You don't want to use the term cure. I'm not a medical pro, I'm not, but I've done it. I've seen it. I've had people do it. You can reverse type 2 diabetes. And any doctor, any nutritionist, any healthcare professional that says different is either a fucking outright liar or a complete fool, because you can do it.
I've seen it too.
All the
I
best to
I
you,
read
Yvette.
about
I'm
it too.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Vet.
you can absolutely do it. Yeah, seven, that's what it comes down to, my friend, is the discipline and the consistency. That's always going to be the secret sauce. That's the key. That's the key. And we all have issues. We all have issues with the consistency. That's a big one, you know.
Yeah,
So
but I was talking about strategy the other day, man. This is a strategic thing that we must do. right? Not because it's only a little bit amount of time that we're taking all day, so we can live longer. We gotta be strategic on the shit that we put in our bodies because, yo, this life is beautiful, man. You know,
Right.
and we take it for granted sometimes. And if we be strategic now, take care of this, then we can live longer. And
Hmm.
honestly,
Hopefully.
better. Yeah, and honestly, better. I mean, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go, right? I understand that, but
Yeah.
if we take these little strategic things now, man, we can live better and age better. I mean, you're the proof right there. Although,
Well, yeah. I mean, nobody knows what their fate is going to be, but
hmm
why would you willingly throw your health out there? Why wouldn't you do everything you can? You don't know what's going to happen. And people say, well, he lived to be 80, he lived to be 85. He didn't live, he existed. He was on pills, he was
mm,
injecting insulin, he was, you know what I mean? That's no way to live.
it's tough.
That's not living. And you don't have to be that way for most of us, but we're sold
Hmm
this bill of goods. All right, my friend, I think we're going to cut it off there, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all the time. I appreciate your input, um,
Thank you.
your insight tonight. Appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody stopping by. Seven Fitness, Frankie F16 as usual, David, Yvette, all the best to you, hon, Brian. Um, all right, guys, everybody, make sure you get your reps in. Do your best to eat healthy, stay healthy, and we're gonna catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys.